Nice job, FSD. I was fixing the camera. Hello there, you 1585ers. Glad to be back. I've been away for a while, for good reason. We won't get into that now. Maybe I'll do a video on it some other time. I wanted to come to you today to bring about a little bit of information. I hope you'll forgive me if it's not doom and gloom information. Because it's not. I've been following very, very closely the events that are going on in the massive continent of Africa. There's so much going on there, and it's all good. It is all absolutely good. There are many countries now that have totally opted out of the Western Hemisphere influence. They are now taking care of their own people, taking care of their own country, doing their own projects, building their own buildings, fighting their own battles, and winning. After decades of being protected by all these wonderful philanthropic countries that gave of themselves to protect those wonderful people on the continent of Africa. They're doing great for the first time in their present histories. I'm going to start with Burkina Faso and the Union of the Sahel States. Why do you think they called it the Union of the Sahel States? They're laying the groundwork for opening up the entire continent to becoming one again. If that happens, all my predictions once again will come true. They will become the leaders in the world in every aspect of life. Economically, culturally, as far as civilization, innovation, they will rise to the top once again. You see, at one time, they were on top, and they allowed negative influences to stagnate and stop them in their tracks. They're no longer allowing that to occur. They're going full steam ahead, full bore. Somali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Chad, closely behind. Senegal, closely behind. Botswana is forming union with neighbors now, getting rid of the passports, making sure that everything can freely move across these artificial borders that were set up at the Geneva Convention to keep people divided and separated. Remember, folks, the biggest thing that tears you down is when you're divided. When you turn your back on your people, that's what brings you down. Okay? It's not the people that are trying to turn you against them, because you don't have to follow their lead. It still comes down to you and the choices you make. So right now, Burkina Faso has gone from 17% unemployment, and I know you thought everybody was running around with grass skirts and bones in their nose, right? No, Burkina Faso is a very beautiful and vibrant country, which is getting better. From 17% unemployment down to 11% unemployment. From all the outside farmers that kind of border the entire area of the country, who were always being disrupted by insurgents, terrorists, or Western-backed rebels. They're all reclaiming their land again and growing crops and feeding their fellow man in their own country. They've cut down drastically on their imports. Everything that they have recognized as something that they can build in the country, they are building it in the country. And if they can't build it in the country, they're sourcing it from their current local neighbors, which is cutting down their logistics, making it much more affordable to get what they need to sustain. They're laying pipelines. Oh, people say, oh, but that's terrible, laying pipelines. Well, before they had thousands and thousands of trucks running back and forth, carrying loads of the same product. So why not put a pipeline and get the stuff there quickly, efficiently, with less danger? Any one of those trucks could be in an accident, tip over, spill, this, that, and the other thing. But of course, those people who say they're in for the environment, they don't look at that. That's not a statistic. Trucks falling over and leaking doesn't matter. It only matters that a pipeline could have a leak somewhere along that line that people are going to detect and repair. That matters. Anyways, that's another rant. They're laying a pipeline. That pipeline is going to get them the energy resources that they need to make sure that the rest of the country is all lit up. Right now, they're laying roads, they're lighting up those roads right down into the countrysides. Not just in the high-end areas, they're making sure all people, I can't remember how many it was, but Ibrahim Traore commanded so much money was going into building homes for the people who are basically in the outskirts having difficulties. Those homes are built with solar panels on top and lighting systems inside that allow them to, at least when the sun goes down, have some lights in their homes, be able to continue being productive. He's running water to all these homes. Like, people, when you hear anything about Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore, if it's negative, you can just look at the person spreading the lie and say, bullshit. Okay? Don't try filling me with fertilizer, because you know better. Mali, same story in Mali. Niger, same story in Niger. These folks are doing amazing. Do you know that they just opened up their first national investment bank? Well, you say, what do you mean national? You just named 3 countries. Yeah, those 3 countries have combined. They are now one. And they're putting in 5% of all of their tax revenues into this investment bank to help spur businesses and projects that they need without going to those outside sources who say, oh, we'll help you, but you have to do this. You have to change your political stance this way. You have to change your laws that way. You have to allow us free reign to be able to come and go as we please and do what we want. If we kill your people, we are not responsible. You have to adhere all of those. You have to adhere to all of those rules that we've given you, and then we'll help you build that road. Oh, and we're not going to use your people to build it. We're going to use our own people, so all the money comes back to us. Okay, sorry about that. There was a truck beside me with loud music blaring, and I know if I left that in, they're gonna give me a copyright strike and all kinds of good stuff. Even though I'm not playing the music, it's like, anyway, I think it's pretty stupid. Incidental music gets into your videos or whatever. We should not be held responsible like that. Just doesn't seem to make sense. So, folks, keep an eye on Africa. They're growing exponentially, and you know what an exponential curve does. All right? And if you don't, let me show you. It starts off like this, it starts to make it this, then it goes like this until it gets to its resting point, and then kind of levels out at the top. I don't know if there is a top for what's going on there now. I think it's just going to continue to go higher and higher and higher. I hope you've been noticing that other than those couple of takeovers, everything has been 1000% FSD supervised. And the things that I took over for, really not important. I could have let it handle it itself. Folks, keep an eye on Africa. Keep an eye on Ibrahim Traore. And if you ever hear any negativity about him, stand up for him. You know why you need to stand up for him? Because if you don't, that means anybody, any country, anybody making an effort to help their own family move up, anybody can be taken down by the same powers that be that have been doing it for decades, and some for centuries. Stand up for him. Let people know all the good that he's been doing. And don't allow them to condemn him to the scrap heap of the past, like they did with every other leader that tried to help his people. Like Gaddafi. And people will say, but Gaddafi was this, Gaddafi was that. No, Gaddafi was making sure that his country ran smoothly. Gaddafi was making sure that all the people in his country were going to benefit from their own resources. If you want to call taking out the bad guys being this horrible dictator, well, then you have to look at yourself. Because isn't that what law and order is all about? It's taking out the bad guys? Help me understand. If you have a valid argument, make it. If you don't, oh, what can we say? Can it? You know, do something. I will continue keeping an eye on them. And I can tell you, the only thing I'm hearing is really good stuff. ECOWAS, which is the organization, which you could say would be like, what could you say? Be like the original 13 colonies or something. They got together for an economic union of countries in West Africa. And unfortunately, their mandate that they were founded on seemed to have been forgotten. So they were doing things that weren't actually promoting anything good. Oh, beautifully handled, FSD. Beautifully handled. Perfect turn. Gets over right away. Crosses diagonally right across the lanes with the signal going. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. So, you folks, remember this, okay? Stay safe. Stay healthy. And above all else, stay as happy as humanly possible. And remember, we 1585ers, we never give up, we never give in. But we keep an open mind, because that's how we gather our knowledge. Our knowledge is the only power we're ever going to have in this realm. So don't give up your power, folks. Do your own research. Do not listen to the 96% of media that are owned by 6 organizations that will parrot the same talking points to make sure that you feel brainwashed by hearing the same thing over and over and over and over. You start to think, well, that must be true. I'm hearing it from so many different sources. all those sources are coming from the same source. So, yes, does not mean that they're true. Oh, how's it going to handle it? Are we going to run into the truck because it looks like the sky? Yeah, folks. This is how FSD handles situations. Not like you hear people talk fertilizer. Alright? Take care, folks. Till next time. Love y'all. Ciao.